Triumph. Matthew 21, verse 5. Behold, your king is coming to you, humble and mounted on a donkey. There's three words you don't often get together. King, humble, donkey. Now, a donkey is not an elegant or a beautiful creature, is it? And it's a bit small, a bit low to the ground. When you see donkeys giving rides at the seaside, it's children on their backs, not grown men. Jesus' feet are going to be dragging along the floor. And it's not even a mature donkey. It's a colt, the foal of a donkey, that's never been ridden before. But it isn't skittish or jumpy. It doesn't buck or react to the odd sensation of a man on its back. Perhaps it senses the importance of the occasion. And we see that Jesus isn't demanding the praise, the attention. He didn't pre-book the street, cordon off the roads, get it announced on social media. The disciples and then the crowd started to put their cloaks on the road in front of him. Then people cut off branches from the trees and put those in the road. The people saw in this humble man, riding on a donkey, something majestic, something triumphant. And when the Pharisees demanded that Jesus rebuke his disciples and tell them to be quiet, he said, Luke records, that as they keep quiet, the very stones will cry out. For a very brief moment, Jesus was given on earth the honour and praise he deserves. He didn't demand it, but the crowd, the donkey, even the stones, saw and acknowledged his lordship. This picture of God's humble servant Jesus receiving glory and praise takes us to another part of the Bible, to Philippians, where Paul wrote to that church as part of what seems to be an early church creed. He reminds us that he, Jesus, humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on a cross. And therefore, God exalted him to the highest place and gave him the name that is above every name, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. It is because Jesus has committed to the path of obedience that brings about the ultimate triumph that these scenes 2,000 years ago are foreshadowing. One day, every mouth will shout praise and honour to the everlasting King, who will reign in eternity. There will be no doubters or critics then. All people will bow and acknowledge Jesus as Lord. And in this moment, we can see it. We can see that the very person of Jesus elicits praise from people who don't really know why. They can just feel that this is something, someone special. Because majesty and beauty of spirit can be seen without pomp and splendour. The Synoptic Gospels all entitle this the triumphal entry. On a donkey, with Jesus' feet dragging in the dust. But it is triumphant because of who he is, not the trappings around him. We know who he is and what he will be, but they didn't, and yet his glory shines through the circumstances, drawing praise from the crowds. Paul says in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7, that we have this treasure, the knowledge of the glory of God, in ourselves as jars of clay, to show that the all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. We in ourselves cannot triumph over our circumstances, but when Jesus' power and glory is in us, it will be visible, and it will draw attention, not to us, but to him.